It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, of the book of Sirach, chapter 25. I'm going to start at verse 17 and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 13. I'm going to start at verse 12, Salaki. Salaki. This is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, and verse 10. How great, Salaki, oh, how great is he that findeth wisdom, yet is there none above him that feareth the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The love of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai passeth all things for illumination. He that holdeth it, whereto shall he be likened? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of his love, and faith is the beginning of cleaving unto him. Verse 13, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, meaning the mind, and any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman, and any affliction but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge but the revenge of enemies. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. I rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Verse 17, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darken her countenance like sackcloth. You can tell the wickedness of a woman in her eyes, in her look. Verse 18, her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it shall sigh. And when he heareth it shall sigh bitterly. Verse 19, all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Kol Haloyim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Hahakwadash. I want to say double honors to the elders, to my apostles, the ones that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat that they're listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's the brother Yahusap coming at you another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by video. I was on Facebook Messenger. Well, no, Salaki. I was on Facebook. I want to say Messenger, but I just was on Facebook. And, sometimes Facebook be having videos, and the video caught my attention, and, just a sign of the times, brothers been going into the spirit about, it's the spirit too, because brothers was going into how, you got these wicked ass women that had men in the Lord or refused to get in order. Just a testament to the times, showing you how wicked Jake is. And that's going to be that way all the way to the end. You got to remember the scripture said pretty much 2/3 of the nation going to refuse to hearken. I was reading Amos chapter 4, and it talks about how pretty much Israel has always been stubborn and stiff-necked and whatnot. Ezekiel chapter 9 goes into, pretty much the wickedness that Israel was doing, being the northern and southern kingdom. So, this caught my attention because although, they got that whole, you got individuals that make content based on trying to catch a gold digger. They'll bait a woman, bait a female by pulling out a nice car. They might talk to her wearing some bummy clothes, or, they might even be lightweight, have a little chain on it or whatever. Like this one particular dude, he had a, one of those men purse, which a man can't have a purse, he's just a purse. You know what I mean? But show you how, brain dead these people is, and what the crazy part about it, how fucked up the society is. The scriptures talk about woe to them that call good evil and evil good. You'll have women, just wickedness is upheld here. You'll have women that believe that pretty much a man should be just pretty much devoted to them, because this place pretty much deals in woman worship. Now I don't know how true it is. They say that Statue of Liberty is a man for real. I know that's nothing new. I forgot who had a statue similar, but it's like a Masonic statue. That's what the Masons gave him to, the French Masonic chapter. And then it's spiritual, because I know I'm all over the place, Salakia, bear with me, but pretty much France was talking about they want the statue back, which that won't happen. It's probably some they talking code. You know, just like how Jake talked, and you know Jake could pick up on it. You know, the Freemasons, they talking code as well. But just show you the wickedness of this place. Like a woman expects you to be devoted to her, but yet and still, it could be like a Steph Curry situation where she talking about she ain't getting enough attention from men. I'd have been like, bitch, you know what I mean? That's grounds for divorce right there. The fuck, what happened to, like just being solely committed to one another? Like, not here, but then, like I said, the scriptures go into a man can have more than one woman long as he can provide and be, and that's the spirit. Because brothers was doing videos about Andrew Tate, which he a demon, he Jake, and 2/3 of Jake demons. He a demon, a Masonic demon at that. Because when you take time to think about a lot of shit he doing, he do a lot of Masonic hand gestures as well. But just don't be surprised, just like Trump got his minions, that dude got minions. They got people brainwashed under, their philosophies. But it's one truth. It's only one truth. Again, he was going into, he got more than one woman. He got more than one, just like Elon Musk. It seems like in this society, the only time you can be able to deal with that is when you on a level like one of these celebrities or you got a lot of wealth. Because, again, it'll be shunned upon, but then they'll get an order when you could pretty much, when you pretty much have the means and the finances to, take care of everything, which the way it should be, But, again, this is a wicked ass society because it puts in these women mind that they can jump from rod to rod. And it's going to be a point where they're not going to be able to jump. They're just going to be pretty much, taken, seized, devoured, So fair use. Not profiting off of this. I'm just lining up what's in the video with what, some scriptures I had thought of. Bear with me.
No, but I mean, you I got the paper.
You gonna be a side nigga?
Yeah.
You got a side nigga money? You got hush money?
Bro, look at me. I mean, I got something on.
Tell me, nigga.
I mean, I got some bread on me.
And that's the point, what I'm saying? Like, she like, I don't mean nothing because, like I said, you got a lot of individuals that do this. And I know this is like, again, he doing this for views. But if the nigga do this for views, who's to say what else he, what I mean? Like, you'll stoop to, niggas sell they soul and whole for less. Jake cheap, Look at, that guy Brick Baby and certain individuals. They was going on Adam 22 for, he wasn't paying them really shit. He wasn't paying them nothing. Guys like that guy, what's his name? The fuck is it? Crip Mac, individuals like that, he probably just bought some chicken and gave some beer cake, a couple $100, a lot of people was using that guy. But just showing you how simple a woman is, and it made me think about how many of these women gonna switch up in that day. When you gotta think about it, the word effeminate goes into a lack of faith. A woman believes in the man. Now, don't get me wrong, you got some women that believe, you got some women that believe wholeheartedly, and they believe that the Lord, I'm gonna tell a testimony. I knew a chick that pretty much is she a fucking pastor, demon, But the funny part is she knew the Lord was gonna send her a husband. Now I'm not saying she's righteous. More than likely the Lord was gonna destroy her, the husband. You know what I mean? They fucking her kids. She got grown kids. But the point being, she had that belief, even if she believed in going off. But she had that belief that the Lord was gonna send her a husband, which he did. He a weak ass dude because he letting her run the show. So when they come to a wall and she ain't be able to protect, because it's only so much she gonna be able to do. But what I'm saying, like maybe she is good with the finances. Maybe she is good and got a certain position in Esau's kingdom because she got a little, But it's like you know, it's like, what weak ass, you got to be a weak ass individual to let your, I remember growing up, we was told and taught to go ahead and use a bitch for what she got and to get yourself together. And then, like, yeah, I grew up around some slime ball ass niggas. I didn't realize that shit was off until I grew up. Slakia, because I'm still growing. Like the brother say, you constantly growing. Until I came into the truth. But, I'm kind of ranting. Bear with me, like I said again. But this video caught my attention because watch how she do the switch up. The double-minded. The scripture said a double-minded man is unstable in all their ways. Which, this is not a man, but it's going into man, woman, anybody that's double-minded. That's why, I got to be single on the truth. The scriptures.
I got the paper. You good? She got a clapper. I ain't gonna cap. She got a clapper. I ain't gonna lie. We gonna put the Lexus to the test and see if the Lexus is good enough to get a gold digger. My LC 500. Last chance, man. What's up? God. Last chance, man.
I told you I got a nigga.
So what?
What?
Is he treating you good?
Yeah, he treating you good.
He ain't treating you good because he won't have you out here like this.
Like what? What you mean?
You by yourself. You know what I'm saying? He supposed to be protecting you.
I'm going to the store for us. Yeah.
So he made you go to the store.
He made me go to the store.
He made you go to the store.
He made me come to the store.
That's crazy.
No, but that's my nigga.
You love that nigga?
You love that hoe?
I'm asking you, love that nigga?
You love that hoe?
Nah, not really. Just something I just knocked down.
But why you with her?
To show you, just literally, if you got any experience around women, which most Jake do, but don't get me wrong, the Lord take you through some shit. Like, with me, I'm just going to speak on myself per se, Like, with me, I've had women, I'm not going to brag on them, I just knock off everything, but, the way we was taught, it's the law of averages. You shoot at 10 women, at least one got to say, yeah. You know what I mean? That's just with anything, the law of averages. So, if you really want to try to build up a stable, you constantly, closed mouths don't get fed. But, women are so simple. All you got to do is flatter a bitch. It's very rare that you come across a female that you do more than flatter her. And that's because some man was behind her showing her, no, don't let a nigga just tell you what you want to hear. Because Jay can tell a bitch what she want to hear. We used to talk about selling a bitch a dream. Tell you everything you wanted to hear. And then when the dream don't come true, what DMX say? He say, when the bitch start catch feelings, then I'm stealing her shit and I'm out. Some nigga shit. And that's why I say, the brothers, it's not a coincidence that brothers in the spirit of being disciplined. Ain't nothing wrong if the Lord gave you that, the Lord give out gifts. Certain brothers got the gift of gab, speech, some brothers, just charismatic, you know what I mean? So brothers, attain things that every brother, that's why we're a body. We ain't all supposed to be like the IUIC garments, you know what I'm saying? We all built differently because it's a body. But if you just focused on these hoes or world, that's in a way a worldly type of mindset as well. Because at the end of the day, I'm about to show you how quickly and I'm not saying all of them because all women ain't built the same like all men. That's why the scriptures talk about a virtuous woman. But for the most part, a lot of these women are effeminate, meaning they have a lack of faith. They believe in you until they don't believe.
Cause I used to love her.
Okay, well, why you didn't keep it real with us?
Man, look, we ain't about to get into no.
But I'm
asking you what's up. You know what I'm saying? Man, you got the cheeks, man. You thick.
I got the what?
You got the cheeks.
I got the cheeks. Boy.
You know, man, you got the.
Now you're doing too much. Go home to your girl, boy. You crazy.
You is my new girl. Come here.
I am not your new girl.
Come on, come here.
No.
All right, that's cool. You missing out.
How I'm missing out?
He's missing out. It's cool.
That's your call.
That's your call.
That's your call. And then, like I said, I thought about it the same way. You see, look at the bitch grin. So what David Chappelle say on that comedy special? He said, "Gotcha, bitch." You know what he said? "Gotcha, bitch." I think David Chappelle made a joke. He said, men don't buy flashy cars for themselves. They buy flashy cars for women because women like flashy things. So when shit get dirty and grimy and people struggling, what do you don't think adultery and all this, these hoes already slimy. And I'm not See, the thing is, I'm not labeling all females hoes and bitches and what you know what I mean, because I will label you as according to the way you act. But for the most part, the scriptures say that our women shall be harlot in the streets. Now, she said she had a do. I don't know if this is a skit. I don't know. Because you got to think about it. A lot of these YouTube videos are produced for entertainment to catch people's attention. So sometimes this should be purposely, people be in on the shit. It don't be genuine. But at the same time, this can very well be real. And this is going to be somebody going through this right now. Where they woman is out, they trust in a woman, and yet still, this bitch is up something. And that's Jake for you, the wickedness of Jake. Jake, you heard what he said. Again, he playing the part of he just trying to test to see if she a gold digger. But that's too many niggas do that. I've seen and witnessed that. I've heard Jake say that I've heard Jake men and Jake women say they look for people that got people, so you can't bother them all day because they gonna want to be out fucking with somebody else that might be attached. And that's how disease spreads. But truth be told, the disease is spread through the woman. This is the book of that's just fact. Female might get offended by it, but it's the truth. It's the book of damn, I just had it. It's the book of Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 10, and it reads. I'm going to read it in NLT, and it reads, if a man commits adultery with his neighbor, now, if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, you're one of God's true chosen people, power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. And, each tribe had their own land. So your neighbor literally would be somebody of your clan or your tribe. So that would literally be your brother or your sister. So that's the word neighbor, Your neighbor is not a motherfucker that just live next door to you. You got Jake that get some money or some wealth and move out to Pepper Pike or or bumfuck Egypt to try to be around Esau, thinking that they doing so much, and then get all these. They gonna wonder why when shit get bad, Esau gonna eat them. He gonna Alex Jones it. They gonna Alex Jones his ass. If a man commits adultery with his neighbor's wife, both the man and his woman, so like both the man and the woman who have committed adultery must be put to death. And the Lord sometimes repeats certain things, especially when they're detrimental to Israel. And that's why this is repeated again in Leviticus chapter 22, verse 22. I was listening to the elder. He was going into how Jake is so stiff-necked and stubborn and hard-headed. That's why we had to get the fringes put on our, our garments to remember the law. Because what happened? You had Jake trying to pick up a stick on the Shabbat. That's the seriousness of the law. Stop. Goofy ass nigga eating paper. Stop it. So yeah, I mean, but our people love to do wickedness. That's one of them big things that our people into, like trying to, like I was listening to the elder speak on that. Like it's like a status symbol in their mind. They want to fuck your woman. It's like they got power over you.
My what?
Huh?
So he got her now, you know what I mean? Because she's supposed to kept it moving when she told him the first time. But nah, she pretty much stopped because in her mind, she was already entertaining the thought. But what's sealed the deal was when he showed her that card. Because again, women like shiny things. And again, I'm not going to say all women are going to, because again, you got virtuous women. But for the most part, when these women, a lot of women aren't built for struggle. I was watching the elder. He was showing that woman. Yeah, she was, she was a nice looking woman, but she lightweight had some hustle about herself. She worked her hand. It was another chick I was watching. She was living in a storage. She was doing the same thing, saving her money. She was living in her storage. She was sleeping in I think a U-Haul. She had a storage, and she had a storage. I think she got caught in the storage, so she had to get a U-Haul. But I think she did some dumbass shit because she was uploading a video showing how she was moving, and they ended up finding out that she was sleeping in the storage, so she had to get a U-Haul. I can't remember, but long story short, she was doing the same thing. She was saving money. She was going cross country. She was traveling because this was her way of saving money. and basically being like rent free and being able to stack. You got some people that actually got, initiative and drive to be able to do that. But for the most part, a lot of these, like the elders brought up, a light woman. Majority of these women ain't actually got nothing going for themselves. Don't get me wrong, you do got some, because some of them still have father figures or just, they had that drive within them. But for the most part, a lot of these women, especially Keisha, is airheadish. They lighthead, or they light women. So they ain't gonna know what the fuck to do when certain shit go down. Like for instance, around certain brothers in the spirit of camping and starting fires and shit like that, cleaning water. I never was in that spirit. And that's, for whatever reason.
I don't know, you gotta find out. But I mean, you gotta go, right?
Why are you playing all them games?
I'm playing all the games. How am I playing games?
What you mean? Because now you want to get away from me?
I want to get away from you. I want to get away from you.
You get in your car telling me I'm missing out.
No, I'm saying, you said you had a nigga, so I was about to dip,
I like your ties.
You like my what?
Weak ass, I mean, it's lightweight pissing me off because, like I said, again, I don't know if it's a skit or not, but I do know this. This is the average woman. And then the funny part is, like, this reminds you of Candid Camera. Like, that's a show I grew up watching because people filming people and making fun or doing skits is nothing new. So you would think with all this technology, everything being recorded and watched, motherfuckers would literally be more up on their P's and Q's. That's what makes you question, is this like staged or not? But if this one's staged, you can go and find one that's real.
Your ties.
The tires or the rims?
The rims.
You like the rims?
Mm.
You know what those rims are?
Yeah, I know what they are.
What is it?
What the f***?
I want to know. Let me see if you want.
I know what they mean.
So that's enough, because like I said, he got her now all on some materialistic shit. So how much more so when these women ain't eating, when the baby's starving? And that's what the elder be going into when he say it's going to be a huge shakeup. Certain Jake is more disciplined than other Jake. You got certain Jake in this thing thinking it's all about how many Edomite bitches you can get. Not speaking on anybody personally. I'm talking about something I witnessed in the camp I was around personally. You know what I mean? Like, and I even asked Jake, I said, do you understand why we in the truth? Or what this is about? Or do you understand what you involved in? I asked him. He just had a goofy grin on his face. I mean, yeah, I get the breakdown now, and now I could actually like say, well, okay, damn, that's deep, and I feel and respect that. But the last thing, like, I mean, certain brothers ain't even gonna get that. So why focus on that? Well, I was just reading that. What's that in Galatians? Everything ain't for everybody, or how do it go? Basically, he was talking about how I'm gonna butcher it. Bear with me for a second. Yeah, here we go. This is Philippians chapter 2. And I'm gonna start at verse 3, and it reads, don't be selfish, don't try to oppress others, be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. So you got individuals try to do things to impress other people, caring about what other people think. And you can't even think about that. If you if Yahushua worried about what he thought, what other people thought, do you think, like if Yahushua was in his own self-interest, we wouldn't even have this grace period. And you gotta think about it. Yahushua's are in sample. So, again, just we coming into some real serious times. And the thing is, I'm just speaking out loud because, again, at the end of the day, you can't hold nobody's hand in this truth. Like Jake said, you can't really even lower it over nobody. If the spirit of the Lord jump on a brother to show interest, at the end of the day, everything is gonna work out exactly how the Lord wanted it to. Like at the end of the day, and that's what I come to truly wholeheartedly believe. I think the Lord. I mean, like in my mind, I think that a situation can happen that might look like one person is wicked and one person is. I mean, at the end of the day, it is elect, it is chosen, but at the same time, like when you know a person, In my mind, I'm thinking like the Lord do certain things for certain reasons. Like I say again, after all these different things coming out, I believe that the Lord, he got this happening for a reason. You know what I mean? Everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. I just heard the beloved elder apostle say that. At the end of the day, it's spiritual. Everything is spiritual before it's carnal. So, with that being said, get these scriptures. You know, like I say again, to show you just how ruthless and wicked and because like I said, she really wanted to stop, because she was getting some attention. She said she was doing that for a man. You know what I mean? Women do that every day. If a woman was really, now I've seen some women really be on it like, nigga, I watched this guy called Boss Mac, and he was up there, he'd speak on what women say sometimes, and he was up there like, I like the fact he called himself Boss Mac, because a pimp will do anything to get the money. He'll bend over, That's why you got certain people that might, like Cat Williams, say that he read all these books, but nigga, you don't even know what the definition of a pimp is. That like when you read that Iceberg Slim, I forgot what the last book was called, but I never watched it. I mean, read it. I read some of Donald Goines books, but somebody told me about pretty much like they was reading all them Iceberg Slim books, and then they got to it was like the one where he dressed up like a woman to get to hit the lick. He was like, I couldn't read the books no more. Because that's the mentality of, you know what I mean? Like, sex sells, and they gon', you'll be surprised how how much debauchery and how wicked this place is. You know what I mean? They said, the guy, what's his name? Albert Pike used to pretty much go out into the woods and they would have orgies. Like, if you ever heard about the Maypole, they had Jake going off. Esau had Jake going off doing that shit too. They would worship that maypole and pretty much go into a drunken stupor and have a fucking big ass orgy. That's the whole point of St. Patrick's Day. This is the book of Job, chapter 39 and verse 13, starting at verse 13. Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth and warmeth them in dust. Now the ostrich is used as like a not a parable, but it used as like analogy of Israel, the women of Israel. And forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. She is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear. And when you take time to think about it, like maybe some Jake ain't experienced it, but I witnessed and experienced and saw, how the so-called black woman could be, harden her heart to her children. Even my demon, although she ain't like, like I keep them away from her, because what's the point? All you doing is confusing them. Because if you really was trying to do your part, you would be here. You would be here, or you would actually, get your fucking kids. Calling on a birthday or calling when you get to thinking about it, I ain't doing shit. And that's how low our woman became. And then I be laughing at her to a degree, because, I be thinking to myself, like, usually it's the man that they wondering or talking about. But now, like, you just don't even know. Like, you gave me so much ammunition. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally, like, people looking like, well, where the fuck they mama at? Because it's unheard of, typically, for a man to have a kid. But ultimately, that was the will of Yahweh Shem Yahshua's will. Verse 17, because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. So that's why she can be easily manipulated and misled. And Esau Edom knew what he was doing when he did that, when he gave her power. He knew what the fuck he was doing. How the elders say, pretty much when you see a kingdom is in decline when, you know, the other nations are pretty much dealing with their women. When you look at that woman, when a woman is in order, that means that nation is in strength. But when the woman is not in order, you know, and our woman, is bugged out. You know, they gave our women power, and women really don't know how to wield power. No matter, this ain't no fucking comic book or no cartoon. You know what I mean? Like how the scriptures word it. Pretty much, the head is the Yahweh, and then it's Yahweh shot. Then it's the man, then it's the woman. You know, it's an order. But Israel been going off since the beginning. When you, like I said, Ezekiel chapter 9, Amos chapter 4, and that's what the scriptures talk about. Israel meeting the Most High. It's time for Israel to meet thy power. And I believe when you go into that word meet, pretty much the Lord about to judge Israel. Like what's that? 1 Peter chapter 4 talks about judgment should begin at the house of the Lord. And I constantly say things, and it makes me think back on that brother's dream from Philadelphia, because that was an omen. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 32 and verse 30. For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only done evil before me from their youth. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. For this city have been to me as a provocation of my anger and of my fury from the day that they built it, even unto this day, that I shall remove it from before my face, because of all the evil of the children of Israel and of the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger. They, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophets, and the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So that's both kingdoms. But the scriptures talk about a remnant coming back. And we're seeing that remnant pretty much come back through, the Lord building up, the believers. Back in Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 25 and verse 19 again. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. And that's also the spirit, because the elder was going into pretty much Jake enticing her. I forgot where he pulled it out of the law, but pretty much he enticed her. But it's a judgment for that, Now she probably ain't gonna cry out. She like, this nigga got this and that, you know what I mean? Nigga, you can't think of no other way to make. I mean, at this day and age is no, again, but to show you how this country is all about entertainment. Don't get me wrong, but this is like, like the fuck. I mean, like this is nothing new. You know what I mean? You got. I would be surprised. You got everybody fucking at the job. I look at my job, I be watching this. I mean, they all known each other for years, but the way that they gossip and converse and conversate, I be thinking like, this dude and this woman got to be fucking. Everybody miserable. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. That's why scriptures talk about I'd rather dwell on the rooftop than dwell in the house of a roughly paraphrased, a loudmouth woman. You know what I mean? It says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. That's deep, because I was just watching Snow White with my children. And pretty much that's how she got the kingdom. Bitch came in, mirror, mirror on the wall and all that shit. Verse 22, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impotence, and much reproach. A wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh a heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman will not comfort her husband in distress, maketh weak hands and feeble knees. Because a woman's supposed to be a helpmeet. She's supposed to be a comfort. That's why, like I said, like with my situation, I don't hate my demon, but I just don't care what take place with her. I'm not her covering. She chose what she chose, so let the Lord, you know what I mean? You said you knew the Lord so much, yeah. And the crazy part is, my demon and I both was speaking on the end of the world, so she know the end of the world coming. But I guess she thinks she got a tighter relationship with the Lord than I do. Man, won't you feel stupid? Uh, verse 24. The woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Which is, in the scriptures, because again, Adam pretty much followed Eve's advice when the Lord set up Adam to be the head. Yeah. But the thing is, so yeah, you got a lot of wicked ass women, but you got a lot of wicked ass individual dudes too. You got women that go off because of men. That's just fact. Scriptures talk about a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. You know, Verse 23, Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord. Yahweh Bashmi Al. So sometimes, like we just all gotta take, examine thyself. Because, I remember Jake sitting up there trying to figure out why. And I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, you got a question. Have you examined yourself yet? Where's that at? I just saw it. Said a wicked play with a. Oh yeah, I read it already. Salaki. So again, these women, just like we up under these curses. These curses gonna be in effect all the way till Yahweh Shemiah Shak come. Probably till we get into them new bodies. That's what I believe. Till Yahweh Shemiah Shak come and allow Yahweh Shah Mashiach to come change us. So the nation is going off. That's why you're gonna have 2/3 of the nation be destroyed. But it's always been a remnant that's gonna be preserved. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9. I'm gonna start at verse 26. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. Isaiah also crieth concerning Israel, though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua make upon the earth. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed, we had been as Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah, meaning annihilated, totally destroyed. Verse 30, what shall we say then? That the Gentiles which followed not after righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith? And those Gentiles are Israelite foreigners. Israelites that grew up not realizing they were Israelites. We got something very powerful going on in the earth. Like I said, we watch a prophecy unfold right before our eyes. We watch a DJ Trump. How the elders speak on it. They say pretty much, you got decades pass and nothing happens, and you got months pass and decades happen. Roughly paraphrase. We watch it. Again, this got to be it. I can't say it be this year, but like literally they changing. What's that, terraforming? They tearing up the land with all these firestorms and shit. And everywhere that they have a firestorm, I guarantee you, there's gonna be a smart city. So you better get your mind, your spirit, your heart, la'ab, you know, right, you know what I mean? Get in the spirit, is you know what I mean? Like, get disciplined, because the Lord is looking for soldiers. Like what he say on that movie, Doom. That's the spirit. Doom with the rock. He said, I need soldiers. I need soldiers. Yeah, y'all watch me outside need soldiers. Because we in a war. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, you know, just because you're an Israelite, you're not guaranteed salvation. You're guaranteed to be blessed, but you're not guaranteed salvation on this side. Only the elect are. So if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Central Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Loyim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Hagodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth to you. I say shalom. Until next time, Lord, willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah. And Wak Lababah.